Hello everyone. Uh, Today I'm just out here fooling around with the lathe again. Not a whole lot going on. Just got done working on the shed all day yesterday. It's raining again today, so I'm tired of working in the rain. I got a little bit more to do on the shed. I bought that new table saw. Came in super handy. Today I'm gonna fool around on the lathe a little bit. I found a couple pieces of spalted wood out in my firewood pile. Probably the last couple. I found a few more I dug out and I set up on a log to dry out a little bit, clean up. They've been laying in the mud a little bit. This was a burl I did a while back when I first got it. One of the first things I did, just fooling around. I might go a little deeper into this to see what's in it. That's still like the bark area there. I never really got into it, but it's a pine burl, so they're not real pretty inside. There ain't a whole lot going on in pine, so I don't know, but I do got this sick piece of wood that I'm going to try to... I'm going to have to take it out and cut it with a chainsaw, and I'll throw that in this video. But real quick, I just want to put this thing up here so you can see it and check out this piece of wood that I got out of my wood pile. I'm going to grab it, put it right here. A little bit wet and dirty. I just got done taking the bark off of it, but I got this guy, and this is nice. This is pretty big. That's probably about 15 inches or 15 to maybe even 18 inches from the bottom up. It's 15 actually on the money, and it's 10 over on this side. And I don't know a lot about what do they call it? I don't know. They call it making like your blanks, cutting your pieces of wood, harvesting your wood, and picking out the preferred pieces. I don't know a lot about it yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. From what I understand from a couple people watching them on YouTube is that this area is, I believe they call it the pith. I'm not 100% on that. And what a lot of bowl turners do is, I got to dig this pencil out. Man, it's chilly today, all this rain. And so if this is the pith, what they're doing is like cutting here and using that as a bowl, and cutting here and using that part, because this is the part that's most prone to cracking. So I guess you don't really want to put that in your bowl. And I got a perfect example of a piece that I tried to, so I started to try to turn a bowl with this, like as one of my first projects. And as I got down further and further, this would have been like this. So this would have been a branch growing this way. And so I figured I would turn it that way, turn it the opposite way to get the grain in the bowl. And it's really cool looking. But it started cracking more and more as I was peeling into it. I guess it was releasing the fibers. And I put it in the house for a little while, and it actually, the center of it popped all the way out. You can see all the way through it. I don't know if I'm holding that exactly where the camera shows, but yeah, you can see all the way through this guy. And hopefully you can see that. So that was a lesson learned. And I was only able to get that deep. I still need to buy some better tools. But what I'm thinking about doing, I'm thinking about getting back into this piece and maybe going here and try to hollow it out about that much, come right out of it, go straight in, maybe to the hole, maybe not quite to the hole. And I got epoxy resin coming. I'm thinking about mixing some epoxy, putting this in a cup and filling the whole thing with epoxy and then turning it and see what this turns out like. I think it's going to turn out awesome. If the epoxy will get in these cracks and fill it, harden up and get in all these little cracks, and then I turn it, I think this will be an awesome piece if I can get some epoxy to hold it all together and see what it looks like. I'm going to give that a shot. I don't care. I'm going to waste a little bit of epoxy as an experiment, but what I've seen people do is once they hollow it out, they'll take something that's almost the same size as that core, maybe an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch smaller all the way around, and put it in there as a plug, as a space saver, so you don't waste that whole possibly like quart of acrylic epoxy that you're just going to shave it out anyway. So you're better off just doing that, pulling the piece out, and then you're already somewhat hollow. So that's something I'm going to get into. That piece right there. I know I said I was going to try not to make a whole bunch of lathe videos, but right now, I mean, with the way things are, I really don't have much of a choice. The shed, we're like 3 days in on building the shed, or repairing it, 3 or 4 days. And by like days, I mean we go out there at 10 o'clock in the morning, we come in at 10 o'clock at night. So it's been a pretty big job. And I don't want to make that into videos because it's just basic cuts, basic screwing it together and then hiding the imperfections with trim and just trying to make it look better than what it looks like. Like I said, I was there when we moved into the place, and the inside of it's still good wood. It's just the outside, they never painted it or nothing, so it ended up looking like crap. And I just wanted to redo it. But anyway, getting back to this piece. Sorry I went down the rabbit hole. I'm going to take the chainsaw and I'm going to cut this guy here about like that. I want to say I can get a 12-inch piece on this lathe. This is the Jet 1221. Now I get a 12-inch piece on here. So if I cut this guy here like this, come down and cut that gives me a nice piece for something else. And that'll put me at roughly 12 inches. I'll probably have to nip some of this off. And thinking about it, if I nip off a good bit of it, like maybe down here, cut this thing like that. I know you probably can't see that line. And cut it like that. I know you probably might be able to see that line. And then, so I'll come in like that, and then while I got the chainsaw out, I'll put a little flat spot maybe right here, so I can put this thing on the lathe, and I want to turn something out of the center of this. Even though I just said the pith is like a terrible area, I want to go for it because I think I might be able to find something in there. I can always try to, well, I'm not going to turn it long ways, so maybe I'll put it on there like this and bore right into it and see what it comes out like. It's just all trial and error. I have no idea. I've turned maybe, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've turned about 6 things on this lathe since I've owned it, and I've only had it for like 3 weeks. It's something I can really only do on the weekends. And I never did this. I never had a lathe in school. I never had a lathe any time in my life. I like carving with hand tools on wood. And so I just been like watching guys that carve and watching guys that do different woodwork. And I was like, man, I want to try my hand at a lathe. Because I see like wood has so much character. It has so much more character than what I do for a living. I work in the metal trades. And, welding is an art form in itself. I believe that. And, I know guys that can weld anything and make and do whatever, with metal. And I can. I'm pretty good at my craft. It's earned me everything we have as a family. And, but wood has so much character. It's just, I love cutting into a piece of wood and like just seeing what's inside of it, especially this spalted lumber. I'm going to start, I watched a video on how to make it, and I'm going to start trying to make some of my own spalted wood. And I know it takes about a year, but yeah, I'm just going to do it because we heat our house with wood, so I'm cutting firewood constantly and processing wood. So I'll find some pieces, cut them, seal the ends, take them out, throw them in the yard, roll them around every couple weeks, and let Mother Nature do what she does and make me some spalted wood for bowls and like making gifts and things like that. I always say I'm going to sell stuff, and like my wife's like, yeah, right, you never sell nothing. You just make stuff, and then you either give it away or it's just here and then you throw it away or whatever. I don't know, not much of a salesman. But yeah, I'm going to cut this up with the chainsaw. I'll put a little bit of that in the video. I'm going to try and narrow this down, try to keep my videos kind of short, man, because I don't think people like watching real long videos. So I do try to keep them as short as possible, edit them down. Like this one here, I'm already 10 minutes in on just talking about a piece of wood. So this might be a video in itself, just talking about it. But yeah, I'm going to do some cutting on this thing, and I'll put a little bit of that in there, the chainsaw cuts. I got my saw somewhere. I got a nice little saw. I'm going to cut this guy up, get some prep cuts on it, throw it on here, and start flinging some wood chips. So yeah, when I come back, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be on a lathe.